Oh yeah!
All right, guys, all right. Very funny. Very funny. Yeah, real mature, guys. Real mature. Was it you with the hair? All right, guys, focus. Today, we're going to talk about persuasion. Your boss brought me here on short notice. I want to be here about as much as you want to be here, which is a lot. Can anybody tell me about persuasion and influence? I don't know if you guys have heard of Robert Cialdini. But Cialdini came up with the 6 tools of influence. This is a mnemonic, so it helps you remember and keep it in the forefront of your mind so that you can use these tools, or as Cialdini would say, weapons of influence. First one is going to be scarcity. When things are scarce, when they're rare, when there's a limited time, these are things that people want. People want what they can't have, okay? So scarcity is the #1 influencer, all right? Fear of loss. So that plays off of our fear, which is a major motivator. For example, a guy comes to a car lot, loves a used car. He knows that, this is the only used car just like that. And then all of a sudden the salesman tells him, oh, by the way, before you go home and think about it for a couple of days, I got to tell you, this car's not going to be here that long. Oh, well, why do you say that, Bob? Well, we've had several people already look at it today. I mean, if you think about it overnight, it may be gone later this afternoon. I can't promise anything. Do you want to put down a deposit on it? Very powerful. And that's not just car sales, but everywhere. Second most powerful, social proof. Anybody know what social proof is? No? How about you? What you got there? A Game Boy? I haven't seen one of those since the 80s. 90s, whenever they came out. Pay attention. Social proof is keeping up with the Joneses. Okay, so, some people bring home a new car, all of a sudden, they're demoing a car, bringing it home to test it out. And what's going to happen, guys? Are they going to bring the car back and tell all their friends they can't afford it? No, they're going to be influenced by the public perspective. And then furthermore, social proof is going to go to the neighbors. And what happens with the neighbors? Yeah, they see the Jones got a new car. Well, we want to keep up with the Joneses. We have more money than them. I mean, we can't let them outshow us. So, again, social proof is kind of our competitive human nature, competing for resources, competing for status. Social proof also encompasses the groupthink. If everybody believes it, then it must be true. So, things are very persuasive when everybody's on board. If everybody believes that Toyotas are crap, then guess what? That's going to become the public opinion, and I'm probably going to start to think that. Third most powerful influencer is liking. It's just like it sounds. You get people to like you, okay? It's very persuasive. Would you rather buy something from somebody who you like or somebody who you don't like? That's right. You'd rather buy from somebody that you like, okay? Same thing goes with buying cars. Same thing goes with getting a boyfriend, girlfriend, picking up friends in general. Okay, you got to like them, right? Or else you're gonna boot them to the curb, right? But anyway, so liking is very persuasive. If you like somebody, you're more likely to do things for them too. Isn't that correct? I mean, you'd go to the end of the world for certain people, I imagine. Probably because you like them, right? You respect them, you like them, same thing. Okay. So liking is something that salesmen can establish with customers. It's something you can establish when you meet people for the first time in or outside of business and relationships. And I got to tell you, first impressions are so powerful, guys. Women make up their minds about somebody within the first 30 seconds. Of course, they'll continue to change their mind for the next 60 seconds or so. So you got to stay strong for about a minute and a half. For guys, you have 60 seconds before they decide whether they like you or not. That means you can't be too low on the totem pole, but you can't put yourself too high above them either, because, you know, people want to be around people like them. You know, same status, same interests. The more that you talk like them, walk like them, think like them, the more they're going to like you. What we would call mirroring, you know, some salesmen will go so far as to talk like their customers and walk like their customers and have the same body posture as their customers and pretend to like the same things as their customers. I'm not saying you should do that. That's kind of manipulative, to be absolutely truthful. But again, people like to be around people that are like them. So if you want to influence somebody, you know, if you're going to a company to sell your ideas and you know that the guy who's the decision maker, the big man to pull the trigger, you know, has a boat, you know, and then you get to talking about, you know, sailboats before the meeting, guess what? And then all of a sudden, oh, you sail too. Guess what? Yes, that is a good thing to bring up, because here you're playing to his interests and his passions, and he's going to link that pleasure and that interest to you now. And also that you're like-minded individuals who think the same, and he's going to be much more likely to pull the trigger, purchase from you, hire you, whatever it is your task is you are trying to persuade them to do. Reciprocity. There's a lot of opinions out there. Some people think that, oh, people don't care about other people. You know, especially customers, they don't care about salesmen. They just care about getting a good deal. And there's some that'll say, oh no, you're supposed to love and serve others first. Reciprocity is deeply ingrained into human beings. We want to pay people back for services that they have given to us. For instance, you know, back before money, if the Thatcher came over and fixed my roof, then I'm going to feel indebted to repay him with my services and fix his plow or whatever it is that I do if I'm a blacksmith. And this exchange of services over time became ingrained in us. And that's why when, you know, a salesman gives you a Coca-Cola right before you're about to look over the deal, yes, it is going to influence you psychologically. You might not think that. You might think, oh, I'm just going to enjoy this Coke and it's not going to affect my decision either way. And you may be right. But the thing is, it's going to affect you a little bit. And even with a small gift, it's proven that over a small period of time, like a few minutes, it can have drastic results. Coming from that feeling of indebtedness, oh, he's such a nice guy, he gave me a Coke, you know, he's treated me so well, I don't want to take advantage. Okay, that's what reciprocity creates. Authority can be power, it can be credibility, all right, it can be an actual authority. So when we talk about authority, what we're talking about again here, building rapport, building credibility, and you become persuasive. When you're credible, you get trust. When you have trust, you're persuasive. You've established yourself as an expert that somebody's going to believe, or maybe you have a position of power, which is very persuasive as an authority. It's proven that even wearing a uniform can give you authority and credibility. You know, are you more likely to listen to a person in uniform or some guy in a polo shirt who comes up and starts telling you something that you need to do? Okay, so there's ways that you can develop authority. You can dress up in a suit, you can dress up in a uniform. And then again, be careful with the suit, because you want to match what your target is wearing, your target of persuasion, whether that's somebody that you're trying to get hired by, somebody that you're trying to sell a product, whoever that person is, you need to dress like them. So dressing up like a suit may be persuasive in an airport when you're, you know, approaching a bunch of people in suits. Dressing up in a suit is not going to be persuasive in a service lounge with a bunch of lower class people wearing rags and t-shirts. Okay, you want to blend in. So that's the trick, balancing authority while you're blending in. You gotta do both. Consistency. You guys haven't participated yet, so what's the deal, guys? Huh? I'm gonna give a pop quiz. Who wants a pop quiz? Okay, that's what I thought. What's consistency? Yeah, I mean, you got the right idea. So, consistency means people want to be consistent. That's it. Make a promise, we want to stick to that. And so, this is where commitments come in for people that are, well, in sales or, again, anywhere else. You get somebody to commit. Well, if I could do this, would you do this? Well, hey, are you free on Friday? I really would like, I want to do this. Can you go? And they're like, whatever. If you lock it down, come on, man. Let's do this on Friday. Okay, so you got to set a time. It's at 3 o'clock. Are you going to be there? Yeah, I'm going to be there. Boom. Locked it down. You set the appointment. Now they've committed. Now they feel like they need to be there. Okay, whereas if you just said, hey man, come by Friday, we're gonna do this, and then you never ask for a commitment, guess what? Chances are, probably not gonna come. If they do, it's just a stroke of luck. So we don't wanna rely on luck. We want to rely on consistent results. And again, human beings are consistent. They don't wanna have cognitive dissonance. That is, they don't want to have conflicting beliefs, like they're a good person, they stick true to their word, with their actions, which, if they don't show up, all of a sudden they're a no-show, they're flaky, they don't hold true to their word, they're liars. How consistency comes into play. It can go for, getting a commitment like a deposit on a car. It can work for getting a commitment to show up to a social event, a commitment to do something. Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive is thought. Dissonance is where there's fighting. So, if you're fighting with yourself, you're not in a good place. If you have beliefs, okay, they'll need to line up with your actions. What happens if you take an action that doesn't line up with your beliefs? Let's say you were pressured into doing something that you didn't really want to do. Now, this is the beauty of persuasion, because pressure is a very effective persuasive tactic. And of course, when you pressure someone to do something like buy a car, what are you going to think? Oh, they're going to, hunt me down. They're going to tell all their friends that it was the worst experience ever. He pressured me to do this, whatever. No. What happens? They're going to take responsibility. They're going to say, you know what? Nobody wants to admit that they're not in control of their own actions. So they're going to form new beliefs. So they don't have cognitive dissonance. Their belief is lined up with the action they took, and all of a sudden they're saying, oh, you know what? Yeah, I went in there saying that Toyota sucked, but, that was before I drove one. I really like Toyotas now. They're not going to say, oh, I went into the office saying the same thing, but, he twisted my arm, and what can I say? I bought a $30,000 vehicle. No, nobody's going to admit to that. Okay, so, again, this is why persuasion flies underneath the radar here. Nobody wants to have cognitive dissonance, all right? So that means that you can pressure, and it's effective to pressure. That means repetition. That means silence, silent close, asking for the sale or asking for the close 5 to 8 times in different ways, appealing to emotion, appealing to logic, the whole 9 yards. Okay, guys, we're not going to go into closes or word tracks, but check me out. I'll be happy to go over that in the future. But right now, I've got a most important and spectacular appointment with my Jimmy John sandwich. And that's the word.